We're about 1 week away from the NFL draft, and you know what that means? Your league mates that have been hiding and hibernating for the last 3 months are back, and they're ready to make some deals, even if they're not so smart. So today we're going to be looking at some Dynasty buys that you should be making in your 2026 Dynasty leagues right now ahead of the 2026 rookie draft. I'm your boy John, you're watching John Talks Ball, and let's get into it with our first buy. Alright, so our first buy of the day is going to be quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is only 27 years old and is coming off a quarterback 8 finish, posting 3,224 passing yards, 421 rushing yards, and 33 total touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is a buy for a plethora of reasons. He's been a top 10 scorer at the quarterback position for every year as a starter. He's going to remain in that fantasy-friendly ecosystem even if A.J. Brown departs the team. And his price is deflated right now due to a lot of smoke coming from the media. I think a lot of that media news is just super Dynasty irrelevant, and what a lot of creators are failing to see about Jalen Hurts is that the tush push isn't going anywhere. Jalen Hurts is going to keep his 20-plus point per game ceiling because no owners or coaches decided they wanted to ban the tush push at the owners' meeting this year. That means it's going to remain in practice, and the Eagles, who run it so dang well, are just going to keep running it, and Jalen Hurts is going to keep racking up the rushing touchdowns. Now, before I keep talking about the buy case, let's go look at what his price has been on the market via the Dynasty Daddy trade database and evaluate some of those trades. Alright, let's start by taking a look at this first deal, which is Jalen Hurts for a Emeka Egbuka 1-for-1 swap. In a 12-team Superflex Start 9 league, which are the settings from this trade, Jalen Hurts is going to be a much more valuable asset for your lineup than Emeka Egbuka. In a 12-team league, quarterback is already going to be a scarce asset, but then you add in that quarterbacks are going to be 2 out of 9 of the players you're starting in your lineup. That makes Jalen Hurts even more of a crucial piece, putting up over 20-plus points per game last season, even in a down year for the Philadelphia Eagles. I would smash the Jalen Hurts side of that trade in an instant. Moving on to the middle trade, we have Drake May, Bucky Irving for R.J. Harvey, Jalen Hurts, and 227 first-round picks. Here, in a 12-team league, I don't think Bucky Irving and R.J. Harvey is a big enough swap to really make an impact of a deal in this caliber, so therefore we're kind of looking at Drake May for Jalen Hurts and 2 2027 firsts. This one isn't really particularly close. I think May and Hurts, while May might be slightly better, is not a big enough up tier for you to give away 2 2027 firsts, and it would easily take the Jalen Hurts side of this package. Those firsts can't get hurt, their value is guaranteed to grow, and it's the much safer side of the deal, not to mention you're not really making that big of a downstep in terms of your productivity. Moving on to that third trade, looks like we have Cam Ward and the 111 for Jalen Hurts in a 12-team Superflex Start 11 format. Here, Cam Ward is a great quarterback to have in Superflex, but I just don't think he holds a candle to Jalen Hurts' production, and the 111 in this year's class is not really enough to get it done. Alright, let's move into our next Dynasty buy. Next up, we have Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver of the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming off of a pretty rough year too, as fantasy managers remember. He's 24 years old and just went for 608 yards and 4 total touchdowns. Marvin Harrison played through various injuries throughout the season, including a laundry list: concussion, heel and foot injuries, as well as that appendicitis surgery that ended up taking him out for about 2 games last season. His situation for the Cardinals is largely unchanged, and I think that's the primary reason Marvin Harrison is a buy. The Cardinals' defense did not get much better through free agency, and currently, although the GM won't name a starter, it's very likely to be Jacoby Brissett. Now, we know what bad defense plus Jacoby Brissett looked like down the stretch in 2025, and I think there's no reason to not project that directly into 2026. The Cardinals are still likely to be losing and are looking towards 2027 to be a real competitive team. Jacoby Brissett, or whoever's starting for them, is likely to be slinging the rock over and over, and Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride are likely to be the recipients of that. Now, before we keep going, let's look at some of those trades to acquire Marvin Harrison Jr. into your lineup. Alright, looking into this first deal, we have Rashee Rice and Woody Marks for Marvin Harrison and Tyjae Spears. Here, the running back swap, again, doesn't really do much in the trade because the other assets are much higher in value. We're mostly looking at Rashee Rice for Marvin Harrison as a 1-for-1 swap here. Rashee Rice has had a lot of trouble off the field, as everyone knows, and is now going into a contract year where the Chiefs have been mocked a lot of wide receivers this offseason in the early rounds. Xavier Worthy hasn't quite worked out for the team, and knowing Rashee Rice has those off-the-field issues, I don't think it's unlikely the Chiefs want to bring in a wide receiver with one of their 2 first-round selections this year. Marvin Harrison is young, 24 years old, going into his 3rd year, and notably doesn't have those off-field concerns. I would happily make that swap into a much safer and younger asset if you can. In this middle deal, we have Marvin Harrison, the 107 and the 207 exchanged for Tyson Bagent, Luther Burden, and Rico Dowdle. This one's a little confusing. Tyson Bagent doesn't really have much dynasty value, and I think I could just about say the Rico Dowdle and the 207 is an even swap there. That leaves you with Luther Burden in exchange for Marvin Harrison and the 107 pick. I know a lot of people are on the Luther Burden hype train. I enjoy him myself, but at the price of Marvin Harrison and 107, it's easily the Marvin Harrison side. Marvin Harrison was a better prospect, went in the first round with elite draft capital, and getting the 107 on top is just a sweetener. This final deal here, we see Matthew Golden, Bryce Young, and a 2027 first exchanged for Marvin Harrison and Travis Etienne. While I hate to move on from a 2027 first, you can sell Matthew Golden at a price like this, alongside Bryce Young, two assets I really don't want to be holding, for Marvin Harrison, a young wide receiver with cornerstone upside, and a running back on a second contract who's going to be productive for at least the next 1 to 2 years. I would make that swap pretty quickly. Alright, today for our final buy, I brought you guys a controversial one. Wide receiver / corner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is about to turn 23 years old and is coming off a season where he commanded 45 targets, 298 yards, and a touchdown before being shut down due to that mysterious knee injury. The Dynasty verdict on Hunter is going to be a buy today, mostly because of price. Media outlets have been pushing stories. Travis Hunter is going to be playing mostly cornerback for the entirety of the 2026 season. I just don't know if I buy that completely. Travis Hunter was just selected with elite draft capital at second overall, and he's just too good of a weapon to not be being used on the offensive side of the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The situation now is also not the situation forever. Travis Hunter could be a full-time wide receiver in the news outlets in a year. We don't know yet, and it's hard to project that far out because we can't predict the future. What I can tell you, though, is that the buy prices on Travis Hunter are getting a little bit ridiculous. We've overreacted, and now is the time to buy. So in this first deal we're going to look at, Travis Hunter goes for Tyler Algier and a 2027 third-round pick. I'm going to rule out the third-round pick here. Most of the time that's just a throw-in, a stashable piece, and we can't project the entire 2027 draft to be good all the way out to the third and fourth-round rookie picks. So we're really seeing Travis Hunter swapped for Tyler Algier 1-for-1 here. Travis Hunter is a guy I'd be happy to take a shot on at that price. Tyler Algier is a first and second down thumper on a team that's going to be losing. They're not going to be throwing the ball to Tyler Algier. They'll probably be putting in a third down back to make that happen. I don't see the fantasy upside with Algier, and I'd happily switch into Travis Hunter here. All right, the second deal here, we have the 212 for Travis Hunter straight up. This echoes the sentiment of a few deals I saw on the Dynasty Daddy trade database where we're seeing Travis Hunter moved for late seconds, 206 and beyond. I think that's a smash. Travis Hunter has far more upside than guys you're going to be getting at the end of the second round in this year's draft, and I think he has a much better future if you project out like that. Finally, this one's just a little ridiculous. Travis Hunter swapped 1-for-1 with Adonai Mitchell. I'd much rather have Travis Hunter over Adonai Mitchell. I feel like most people would rather have Travis Hunter over Adonai Mitchell, but this deal is mostly there to show that there's deals out there where you can swap Travis Hunter for a stash candidate like Adonai Mitchell or other guys that might just be clogging room on your roster. He's cheap, he's acquirable, and he's someone you should probably go send some offers out for in your leagues. Alright, thank you for watching 3 players I'd be buying in Dynasty right now. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, hit that hype button, and comment down below who you think is the biggest buy in Dynasty right now ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. If you're looking for more from me, on Monday I'll be dropping an Arizona Cardinals team breakdown, where I'll be talking about all the Dynasty relevant players on the Arizona Cardinals and what you should be doing with them today. Finally, I'm working on the John Talks Ball community Discord, where you'll be able to access me one-on-one for Dynasty trade advice, strategy advice, and any other general questions you might have for your team. My name's John, you've been watching John Talks Ball, and I hope you have a great day, and see you next time. Peace.